Hello, hello. Hi. Can y'all hear me? Yes, no, maybe so. Can
Hi.
you hear me? Yeah? Oh, good. Okay, yay. Hello, everyone. How are y'all?
Good. How are
Yeah,
you?
good. We have a small group today, so y'all go ahead and you can unmute yourselves. And if you have questions, you can send them in the chat box. But we're going to start with these two questions here just to kind of get uh, some of the more obvious questions out of the way. But if you're a SlideKick user, definitely tell me what can you use SlideKick for. And if you know a little bit about the planner, tell me what do you think you can use the planner for. This is the beginner session today for the Google Slides Planner. And so we're going to go over the basic functions, and I'm going to give you those answers that you'll need to pass that so super hard quiz. No, I'm just kidding. It's really not that hard. Hello, Laura. Let's see. Yep, SlideKick to teach. Cool. Yes, yes. Paperwork easier. Definitely cuts down on the prep that I think a lot of teachers do on paper for sure. Yeah. What else? Let's see. Donna. Okay, cool. Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, find appropriate. Yes, you're on the right track, Donna. Okay, awesome. Okay, Patricia. Yeah. We'll go over a little bit of that today as far as what's easier for mobile devices. We'll definitely touch on that. So, today is the beginner session. So if you're just tuning in, we are going to go over some of the basics of the Google Slides Planner. The SlideKick and the Planner are both part of the VIPKid Google Slides resources from our group on Facebook. So if you're joining us today, you likely came here through the Facebook page or found out about this event on the Facebook page. So who in here already uses SlideKick for searching for things? Okay, awesome. Okay. All right. So SlideKick is a mobile app. Well, you can also use it on your desktop, but it contains the same resources that the planner does, except the planner can do a whole lot more. So let's go ahead and get started. Oops, I'm annotating. Don't want to do that. Hold on.
I was gonna say I just started using the planner
Mm-hmm.
yesterday. I was watching your videos and was trying to figure game changer.
Oh, thanks.
My God.
Yeah.
I keep telling people like my husband and my mom who don't understand, like, you have no idea. Like, oh my gosh. So thank you.
Oh,
Thank you.
wow, you're welcome.
Oh my gosh.
Pleasure.
So y'all like game changer.
Yeah, no, it really is. And I mean, even just the whole group itself, I mean, obviously these two things like SlideKick and the planner, they would be useless without the resources that all of the members contribute. And so I'm just thankful to even just be a part of the group and to help, coordinate things and figure out new solutions to problems that, come up a long time ago when we first just started the group. I just shared my drive folder link, y'all, and everybody just kind of had to figure it out. And you opened up your drive and you signed in and you added the folder to your drive. But then when we started having, thousands upon thousands of people using that drive folder link, it got a little wonky, and also drive is not always user friendly, and so we're trying to find a different solution. So yeah, no, I'm just super happy to be a part of this group and get to hang out with teachers and create fun things and do fun things. So, but hello to everyone. I'm Megan Locke. I am a wife and mom first and foremost. I have a 4-year-old. His name is Milo, and he's my absolute world. And then my super cool, sweet, cute husband there. We both went to UMHB in Texas, and we started dating in high school and got married after college, and then had Milo. And I taught brick and mortar English, eighth grade English for 5 years. And whoa, that was a lot. And I love teaching, but I also loved the idea of staying home with Milo. And so I became a VIPKid teacher. And then things just, rolled on from there. So I'm an admin also in the VIPKid Google Slides group. And I skipped over this part. I'm a TMC. It's basically just teaching materials contributor. So things that you see on your certification tab, those are things done by TMC team. So like the videos and typed up stuff and graphics. But I'm also created SlideKick in the planner for our group, and I am now, this is kind of a new title, I'm a certified glide expert and consultant. So I help people kind of, either completely build apps for them or help them, make their apps better. If you have never checked out the Glide platform, it's what SlideKick is built on. And so if you're wanting to create an app and learn something new, go head over to glideapps.com. Google Slide Zooms are free and fun. Obviously not super affiliated with or sponsored by VIPKid. So we are not getting paid to do these, but you also aren't getting tokens. Sorry about that, but they are also recorded. So keep that in mind. Sometimes I take the time to blur out all the faces in the Zooms before I upload them to our group, but sometimes I don't. So just be wary of that. And then they're hosted voluntarily by the Google Slides admin each month. You're welcome to, after this session, if you feel like you learned a lot today, you're welcome to send a tip to today's host, which is me. Then there's my link. I'll have that at the end too. Okay, so just some disclaimers before we get started. This is a beginner session. Oh, wait. I'm going to tell you my disclaimer first. Disclaimer from the Lock House here. We're having new couches. We got some cool, free, almost brand new couches, and so my husband is taking them inside of our living room. So if you hear some clanking around and maybe some yelling or something, that's why. But don't be alarmed. But okay, now onto the actual disclaimers. This is a beginner session for using the planner. This means that it's not a beginner session for learning how to use Google Slides. The planner, which we'll get to in a minute, but the planner and SlideKick, these two things are not actually Google Slides at all, really. They are ways to access our resource bank. So the advanced session will, this is a no. This is a no right here. The advanced session will not take place after this one. We are only doing a beginners this month, but I do have some recorded advanced sessions on YouTube if you want to check those out. This is once again not an advanced or not a beginner session for learning how to use slides. That is going to be tomorrow. So, and I'll include the link for that later. All right, let's continue. Okay. And feel free to send your questions in the chat. I'm going to go kind of fast through some of this introductory stuff, but once we get into the actual planner and things like that, I'll go pretty slowly. Okay. All right. So the first question I asked you guys is how to use SlideKick, how to use the planner. So the red down here is what we'll focus on today. But if you are brand new to our group and you're just kind of joining just to check things out, feel free to stay and hang out because we're going to talk about a lot of cool things, but you might find yourself getting a little overwhelmed. And that's because this is a more advanced way to access resources. This SlideKick is what I recommend for new users, people who are just joining our group. You definitely want to try accessing SlideKick first and getting comfortable with our resources because these two things are just ways to access our resources. And so if you are new, I definitely would recommend coming to the Zoom tomorrow. But if you've been using SlideKick and you're loving it, but there probably are some little nuances about it that you don't necessarily like having to type in the lesson code in the search bar and then having to change out all of those name placeholders and the feedback templates, then that's when the planner starts becoming more and more desirable to you because the planner is best for advanced users. This is because it's not in an app format like SlideKick. It is a spreadsheet. And so if you've never opened a spreadsheet in your whole life, it will feel intimidating to you, but it's not something to be intimidated by. It's definitely something that's going to save you so much time in the long run. So that's what I always like to encourage everyone is that it does feel like a big learning curve, but at the end of the day, you could be like me in a couple of months. I literally don't prep for classes at all. the planner allows you to do that. You can literally copy and paste your schedule into the planner and hit a button, and then you have all of your favorites saved for each lesson. So this is something that's super helpful, and having your feedback templates with your own students' names in them and not the placeholder. Maybe you decide that you want to change that template and customize it for your own preferences. You can save that as well and have that populate next time that you have that lesson. So it's definitely something that's a huge time saver. Yeah, Patricia, definitely lots of similarities for sure. The planner uses a lot of formulas, but it also uses a lot of scripts, Google Apps scripts. And so those two things you don't need to know. I'm going to show you how to just not mess it up, so that's basically what we're going to go over today. We're going to go over how to input your schedule, how to select rewards for your classes. So like currently, if you're using Sidekick, you probably go in there and search for certain rewards and maybe add them to your rewards for the block of a week or so. Or maybe just one day. But the planner allows you to select rewards for each of your students as well, but it will list out what reward you picked for each student. So you don't have to remember or anything. So basically all I just said is a recap here in bullet points, but I say we go on ahead and get to the good stuff. So these first 4 things are what we're going to go over today. So we're going to talk about how to put your schedule into the planner, how to look at all of the resources we have available for your lesson on your planner tab, and then how to use like the email planner button and how to search the rewards and things like that, and then how to edit the feedback templates that are populated when you start your planner. So before I show you the planner and we start going through those steps, I want to kind of point this out. So everything that you're going to watch right now is only really doable after you get your planner, right? So we have a quiz. I think maybe if some of you guys already use the planner, you probably know, or if you've ventured into getting one, okay, man, I have to pass this quiz. What is this quiz? Well, the quiz basically ensures that our moderators and admin are not inundated with questions about the planner. That was becoming a big issue if you're active on our Facebook group, you probably have seen that there already are lots of questions about the planner daily. And so it helps to curb some of those basic knowledge questions. So we're going to get all those answers today. And then I'm going to, at the end of the session, I will send you the link to I'll send you the link to the quiz, and I'll send you a link to a practice planner. This is not something that populates real resources. It is just for you to practice doing these basic functions. And then when you feel like you're ready, you can hop onto the little quiz link that I'll send, and you can get your planner sent to your inbox. So, and feel free to send questions in the chat. However, I can't guarantee I'll get to all of them. I am diagnosed very ADHD, and so I just can't do it sometimes, but I'm sure that we'll have like an admin or something in the chat box soon to answer some of those questions. So, and if you are here, if any of my people are here, say hello in the chat box. Okay, thanks Alicia. Oh, you're awesome. Okay, so first step, we're going to get a practice planner, and then we're going to complete the planner request form. That's going to be after the session. I'm going to show you today how to I'm going to show you all the examples and everything, all the functions I'll show you on the actual planner, okay? So when you pass the quiz that you'll take after the session, you'll be emailed a link, and if you pass it, you'll be emailed this link, and it'll ask you to make a copy of the master planner. And once you hit that blue make a copy button, that will be your document. It's not shared with anyone else. If you mess it up, then you're only messing your own thing up. And you can use this link. I recommend to keep that email that's emailed to you after you pass the quiz, maybe bookmark it or something, flag it so that you can always come back to that email and make a fresh copy. But there are other ways to make a fresh copy if you mess it up too. Okay, so I already clicked this make a copies button, so it's over here. So this is what the planner looks like. This is the spreadsheet that I was talking about. And as you can see, we have like some class info here. okay? This is basically a straight copy and paste from the portal, where you click on classrooms and then you click on no, maybe it's, I think it's classes tab, and you'll copy and paste your schedule. So we're going to do this step by step today together. The first question on the planner quiz talks about how to, what's the first thing to do, I think, to authorize your planner buttons. That is the first thing that we need to do. These right here are your buttons, okay? These buttons, they control the planner, okay? You are the person that's using it, but there are scripts, like code, written into this spreadsheet, and those codes allow your planner to basically take a bunch of steps that you would do manually, and it does them for you. So the first step that you'll need to do to authorize those codes in your planner is to click this number 1, this reset button, because this is somebody else's schedule. I think this was my schedule. And so this is not what you want to see on your planner. So you need to reset it and have a clear input tab right here. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to click reset, but before I click reset, I need to switch my share to my entire desktop, because otherwise you will not be able to see. Hold on just a second. You won't be able to see the pop-ups that happen. So give me a sec. My face is probably really big on yours right now. Hang on. Okay, there we go. All right. Okay, so you can see my messy desktop in the background, and that's really super awesome. I usually try to clean it up, but did not have time today. Okay, so I'm going to click reset. And when I click reset, you're going to see this, it'll start running a script, this little green flag at the top. So let me show you what I'm talking about. So right here is running script, but it's not going to do anything until I've authorized this script to run. And sometimes you have to wait a little bit for it to pop up with the correct authorization code. But now we can see, can y'all see it? I forgot to ask. Okay, yeah, okay, good. So it says authorization required. This is because there's a script attached to all of the planners. So I'm going to hit authorize. And then the next step is, and you might want to pay close attention here, because this is where, let me annotate my mouse real quick. This is where those quiz questions come into play. Oopsie. Show all windows. Whoops, sorry. There we go. Okay, there I am. I'm back. Okay, so it's going to pull up a little pop-up. Okay, you're going to select the account that you are signed into. Really, you only want to see one account signed in. And it says this scary message, this app isn't verified, blah, blah, blah. That's because it's not in the Chrome Web Store. It's not as a published add-on. I don't charge any money for it. So I don't want to go through, there's a lot of steps to get something published in the Google Chrome Web Store, whatever it's called. So if you click this back to safety button, your planner is not going to work. So you do have to click advanced. And once you click advanced, it's going to give you this very tiny little link down here. And it says that it's unsafe, but I know that I have thousands that'll vouch for me. It's not unsafe. So you would click this little tiny link at the bottom, and you're going to scroll down and you're going to click allow. So remember that it's advanced, go to planner code and select allow. And all of these steps are in the slide guide as well. And once I click that allow button, it allows everything to run. And notice I don't have my hand on the mouse or anything. And it's just doing things on its own. Okay. So now that I've clicked this number 1 reset button, I can see that I have a fresh, clean input tab. I don't see that other person's schedule anymore, and it's ready for my schedule. So that was question number 1, is how to authorize those buttons. So just remember that those steps that you need to click authorize, click advanced, and click go to, and then click allow. Now our next step is going to be to put in our schedule. And the first thing I like to bring up whenever I'm doing these sessions, I'm going to only grab 1 day of classes. And a lot of people, I think, have a hard time understanding why it's recommended to only put 1 day of classes in at a time. Does anybody have any ideas about that? Like, why would I tell you that it's most efficient instead of copying your whole week schedule to only copy one day at a time? Does anybody have any ideas?
Overwhelms the system.
No, not really. But it's a good idea. I do, yeah, I do like it.
Classes
okay.
can change often.
Yes, good. Yeah, that's right. That's right. And Lisa said that over there in Patricia. So here's the thing, guys. I've seen it happen so many times, and now, I mean, honestly, now that I short notice all of my slots, I can only put it in one day at a time. But the other thing I was starting to experience like a while ago is whenever I would copy more than one day, I would often find myself prepping for the wrong lesson. This is because maybe I grabbed my whole week's schedule, right? And I copied it, pasted after the frenzy. Then I hit start and I had all my stuff ready to go. And hey, I didn't have to really prep the rest of the week. But wait, on Thursday, I get on to, log into the classroom, and this is a completely different lesson. What in the world? And it turns out that, I had the lesson numbers were incorrect on my planner, and it didn't match what was in the portal. And this is because students often take classes, either they'll take a short notice class with another teacher that they couldn't get onto their schedule, or they might cancel and reschedule something. So it's something to definitely be wary of. If you're copying more than one day of classes, you always need to check those lesson numbers and codes before you start pulling everything up and opening things and getting ready for class. So, all right, so let's go ahead and go do that. We're going to go to the portal here. Now, I might not have a really good example for you today because I have a lot of, I forgot about that. I have a lot of booked trial info pendings today. So they sometimes turn into classes and they sometimes don't, but it's okay. I wasn't really wanting to teach tonight, so it's okay. All right, so here we go. I'm on the portal, okay? And notice that I've clicked class. I just clicked a bookmark, but I mean, if you're wanting to, navigate properly, you would go to class and you would go to classrooms. This will bring you to this upcoming classes page. Let me zoom in a little bit. It's a little bit tiny, isn't it? So here we go. Let me zoom in. There we go. So I want to essentially just copy and paste the classes that I have scheduled for tonight. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to notice how what my cursor, I don't know if y'all can see that very well, but I have a pointer right now. I have a cursor pointer right now. And then when I hover over just a little bit over onto the text, it turns into the, cursor. Well, I don't know the different names of them, but notice how my mouse is changing, okay? So you want to get right there on the first scheduled time right there on the first row. And I'm going to click and I'm going to drag down. And notice that I am not scrolling while I highlight. This is something that really will often make things paste vertically. And this is one of the questions on the quiz, and we might get a good example here in just a minute. But if you're scrolling while you're highlighting, or if you are too zoomed in, like I am zoomed in right now, it may paste incorrectly. So remember that when you're taking the quiz, what might cause your your schedule to vertically paste, you're gonna say scrolling while highlighting. This is usually the #1 culprit. So I've highlighted my classes for today. And the next step I'm going to take is I'm going to copy this text from the web page itself. So I'm going to use this keyboard shortcut, and I'll type that in the chat over here. I always recommend using keyboard shortcuts, but I'm going to use Control or Command C. Okay, if you're on a Mac, it's Command, and if you're on a Windows computer, it's Control. So let me click back over here. So I'm going to do that one more time just for good measure here. So, and notice I'm not like hovering over any of this stuff right here. We don't want to highlight like anything that's popping up or whatever. Just kind of do a quick swipe across the screen. And then I'm going to do Control C to copy that. And then I'm going to go back over to my copy of the planner. And I'm going to click once in A4. If you see a blinking cursor, notice how it's like blinking right here, like it's ready for me to type. This is not right. We shouldn't see this. So you don't want to double click within any cell. And then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to paste those classes I just copied. So I'm going to use Control or Command V, like a violin, okay? And when I do that, I'll see all of my stuff in the right columns, okay? See, I've got class times are in this column. I've got lesson code and then lesson name right here, student name here, booking tags, and the status of the class. Is it booked or what have you? And the planner also kind of pulls out some of those class tags that we see in the portal. So like, you know, if they're a new to you student, or maybe it says like first 12 lessons, or unfamiliar student or something like that, it'll pull that out as well. This column I right here is a more advanced feature of the planner, and you're welcome to use it. But if you are wanting to track everything for your student, they do need to have some kind of unique name. Now it could be that it's just their name. Maybe you don't have another student that's named Hans. So then you can just type their name again in there, Hans, okay? But if you're wanting to track these students, maybe they're regulars of yours, you'll need to assign them a nickname. And that's one of the more advanced features, and I will link the advanced session, the video to it. But so I'm gonna backspace that out of there. Okay, so now we're going to move on to the next button. So we've pasted our schedule, but wait, if I go over to my planner, there's different tabs at the bottom. If I go over to my planner, there's nothing on there. And this is because I have not generated the resources. I basically need to push a button to tell the planner, like, okay, my schedule's in there, I'm ready to see the good stuff. So let's go back over to the input schedule tab. That's your very first tab in the planner. And I'm gonna go ahead and click this number 2 start button, okay? So when I click start, it's going to say that it's running a script. So notice right up here, it says running script. And so I'm not going to touch the computer or mouse or anything. I'm just going to let it do its own thing. And whenever it's done, it's going to end me up on the planner tab, and I'll see that green little flag thing has gone away, and it says right here, I've got a little status here. It says last edit was made, and it looks like all this little cloud thing. If it has a check mark in it, then this means that everything has been saved. Okay. That's one thing that a lot of people, it's a little, I guess, secret or not really well, I don't know, not well known thing is that really Google Drive, since it is on the internet and since it is on the cloud, so to speak, everything that you type and every edit that you make is instantly saved so that you can open this same document on a different device and see those changes reflected. So don't ever worry about clicking you know, like file save like you would on a desktop, because you're not going to find it over there. There's no save option in Google Drive. On your input schedule tab, there is a save planner button. This is not something you want to press repeatedly. This is a way to, and in the future version of the planner, which I'm still working on a couple of things for the next update, but future versions of the planner, we are not going to have it called saved because it's caused a lot of confusion. But the save planner button is to be used sparingly. You only want to hit it once a day. This is to record everything that you did that day on your classes tab. So just ignore that number 3 button for now. If you ever make any changes to your feedback templates or what reward you picked or anything like that, don't worry about clicking anything because the Google Drive has got your back. So notice that the script will land you on your planner tab, and I see a bunch of things. Okay, let's look at this really carefully. The first thing I'm going to see is that it says view only, and this is one of the questions on the planner quiz. It is view only. You don't ever want to type on your planner tab. This will cause some chaos, so to speak. So like if I said, you know, if I wanted to type hello, it's going to tell me not to do it. Okay, and if this ever pops up and you know, you see it says heads up, always hit cancel. Like, okay, I'll not make that change. But let's say you're like me, and anytime any of these pop-ups come up, I'm just like, okay, and I click the bold button, right? Well, I'm gonna see this ref error, and this means that the formula that's pulling in those links is not able to overwrite what you have edited in this cell right here. So a quick fix for that is just to backspace whatever text is in the way. But you can always use Control Z or something like that, okay? Or look, like right here, undo. So I'm gonna hit undo a bunch of times. There we go. All right, so this is where you will, since the planner tab is view only, think of it as your clicking page, like in Sidekick. Whenever you're in a detail screen and you click that open link button, think about this tab as that screen in Sidekick, but for all of your classes instead of for just one. So if you are, ready to go for classes and you're just going to use like some of these extension rewards over here, maybe you don't want to pick out student-specific rewards, then you can really just paste your schedule, hit start, and open up your planner and have all of the links ready to go. We are going to talk about how to open this up on a mobile device, because that is a very often common question that people ask. Is like, okay, well, here are all the links, but how do I open them up on my mobile device? I'll show you a quick and easy way to do that too. So planner tab is view only, and this is where this is the document or the tab you'll have open in class. In this way, you can have all of your links in one easy one page really, and have them all in chronological order. So starting from the first class to the last class. Now, let's say you don't want to use like this stuff over here. Maybe you have not a bunch of booked info pending like me. Maybe you have a bunch of MC classes and you need to, prep and make sure that your reward is, lesson specific or something your student will like. You want to go ahead and go over to the rewards tab. The rewards tab is like married to the planner tab. They're all connected in a way. So this is another question on the quiz. So before I move on to that next tab, you don't ever want to move any columns or make any edits to the tab order here at the bottom, like right here. I don't ever want to do that, because what will happen is it can cause some miscommunication with those buttons on the first tab. So don't move your tabs, don't like drag and drop them out of order or add tabs in between each other. Just don't add tabs or move tabs, and don't delete any columns or rows. This is something that's going to make your planner not work properly. So yeah, so don't forget that part. Okay, so the rewards tab is married to the planner. And what I mean by that is anything that you indicate as your reward for a specific student on the rewards tab is what is going to show in column I on your planner tab. So notice how it says my selected reward. And this should always be empty when you first hit start, because you haven't selected rewards for your students yet. But that is the next step. So we want to fill up this column I so that we have all of our props, that we can click on and open. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. Is it opening? Okay. We have all of our props ready to click and open, and then we have our reward ready to click and open. We want everything on one page. So we need to go over to the rewards tab. This is a huge tab, and it's probably going to make my video lag a little bit, but here we go. Okay, no, it's not. Okay, awesome. Well, so this is the rewards tab. This is Sidekick, really, the Sidekick rewards screen. How nice and pretty it is. It has little thumbnails for images, and you can remember, and heart rewards. This is what Sidekick used to look like, in a sense, if you can imagine. We used to have all of our rewards on a spreadsheet listed out one by one, no pictures, no nothing. So Sidekick is a huge improvement for like the average user who just wants to search rewards quickly, because trying to search a spreadsheet is difficult. And so I'm going to show you how to do that pretty quickly. So notice that I don't have any student names over here, and that's odd. It should usually show student names. But if you have booked info pending trials like me, you're not going to see anything, especially if there wasn't a student name indicated. So I'm going to start down here on row 10. Notice that this screen is really divided into two sections. It says my rewards over here, and then it says all rewards on the other side. If your desktop is, if your browser is really like zoomed in, or your window is really narrow, you're going to just see this side where it says my rewards. You'll just need to use your scroll bar. There will be one down here. You'll scroll over to search the all rewards, okay? So here's how I would go to pick rewards for my students. Let's say this is a lesson on, let's just pretend. Let's say this is a lesson on plants, okay? Oh, looky there. There's a cool new reward that on plants, and maybe my student would probably like this. So what I would want to do to designate it as my reward is I'm actually going to copy and paste this hyperlink onto the other side to indicate that it's the reward that I picked for Lee Jaja, okay? So I'm going to click once to select the cell. Notice I'm not double clicking, because if I double click, it's going to think that I want to edit that hyperlink. And you don't want to edit any of the hyperlinks. These are imported, all of these, yeah, see, look, it's going to say, oh, don't change it. So I'm gonna hit cancel. So what I'm going to do is click once just to see that blue outline. And then I'm going to use a keyboard shortcut. Once again, Control-C to copy. And I'm going to go back over here next to Lee Jaja, and I'm going to paste it using the same keyboard shortcut, Control or Command-V. And notice that I'll see it show up over here, and it's still in its nice clean little format. I don't see like, HTTP, www. I don't see any of that. So you're just doing Control-C, Control-V. And I would do that for each of my students. So like maybe Hans would like this, I don't know, star map or something. Let's see. Here we go. Some fancy hotels. I don't know. These are just for examples. So I'm going to hit Control-C, and sometimes I do it a couple of times. Like I'll hit Control-C, Control-C, just to really make sure that it took my copying, okay? And I'm now scrolled down. I don't know if you noticed that. I did scroll down. Notice the stuff changing on the side. I'm scrolling. Well, as I scroll, this stuff over here disappears. So how do I get back up? I mean, obviously I could scroll back up, right? But this tab is 8,000 rows deep. So, so here's what you don't want to do. You don't want to scroll for days. That will be really annoying really quick. So, and that's a lot of scrolling, really, truly it is. So here's what you can do. You can click either one of these buttons up here. So notice that there are buttons over here. It says jump to the top. I don't know. I couldn't think of a fancy name to name this button, so I just said jump to the top. So that's what you're going to do. So if you're really far down there, you're going to use this button to kind of jump all the way back up, and it's going to automatically jump you up to the very top cell. So it won't be the, it doesn't know which actual cell you're going to paste it in. So it will always jump you up to A7. So just be mindful of that. And then I'm going to click over here in this column, see my selected reward, and I'm going to Control-V. I'm going to paste it. And let's say that you're looking for something very specific, like maybe, I don't know, dino stars or something. If I want to search instead of scroll, a quick way to do this would be to use this keyboard shortcut, Control or Command-F. And that's easy to remember because it stands for find, okay? So whenever I use Control-F or Command-F, it's going to bring up a little search bar right here for me to use. And what I can type in is really, I always tell everyone, use 1 or 2 words. The more words you try to put in, or the more specific that you're trying to be, the less results you'll see. So just use really sparing verbiage here, okay? So I'm gonna just type in dino star, not stars, but just star. And so I'm gonna see that once I type it in and I hit enter, I can see that it's highlighting something down here for me, right? I didn't do that. I didn't put that in green. It's just showing me my results. And I can use these little arrows to skip through to like filter through all of the results, or I can simply just use enter or return on my keyboard and it will automatically hop me to the next result. Okay. So basically, if I just keep on hitting enter, I'm going to see a bunch of different, oh, look, this one looks fun. It says Dino's family with Dino stars. That sounds like maybe right up my alley. So I'm going to use that same keyboard shortcut, Control C, and I'm going to jump up to the top using that button. And let's paste it in here for this student that's nameless right now. So yeah, Corey, that's a good question. I'll definitely will touch on that if we have time, but that is part of the advanced session, and I'll link that at the end. But I am a huge believer in the favorites tab. This is something that really saves you time. These functions right here, these are really just basic functions. So let's see, I'm going to copy a few more over here, and I'm going to put, I'm just using keyboard shortcuts, Control C, Control V. Okay. And now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to see those over there on my planner tab. I noticed a question in the chat. I think, let's see. I think the blue ones are assigned to lessons. So if you're talking about these columns right here, these are just for quick reference. These are actually the same ones found on your planner tab. So the ones that are suggested, okay? So like if you have any favorite rewards designated for this lesson, they will show up here. But then columns E through H right here are what are shown on your planner tab automatically when you populate your schedule. So if I flip back over to my planner, I'll notice that all of my my selected rewards column is now all filled up. Yay. I have all my links in one spot. But I also see these same extension rewards. See, there's that Dino Yays and Praise, and I see that it says extension rewards up here. So that's just for quick reference. So, and those are the ones that are suggested in SlideKick as well. They're all connected. So whatever you see in SlideKick is, knock on wood, typically the same as what's in SlideKick because they are connected. So these are rewards that are suggested by members. I definitely recommend using lesson-specific rewards always. It really just makes your life so much easier. And it makes parents happy too because they are paying, they're paying for the classes. They want to see their kids making growth. But I also know there is another side to that there are some parents that are very picky about their students having fun in class. And if there's something that you're, a game you're playing with them that the kid doesn't get or the kid doesn't like or it just isn't level appropriate, then they're not going to be engaged. And that's another huge component of being successful with using our resources is that you want them to be engaging, yeah, but you also want them to be extending the lesson in some way. So it's really important to kind of put some thought into that. So let's see, I've got my rewards selected. I've got my classes correct. Maybe it's 5 minutes before my classes start and I want to just really quickly scan over here and make sure that none of these, lesson numbers have changed and kind of compare it against what I have in my planner. And then everything looks good. Everything's matched. I'm ready to use all of these links in class, but how do we get it on our mobile devices? So if you're not using webcam software and you're using Google Slides on your mobile device, this is a part to be listening to. There are several ways to open up your planner on your mobile device. Either A, you open up the whole document, like this whole spreadsheet on your mobile device. You can open it up using just like the share link. You could like text that share link to yourself, or you could also just go to your Drive, like anybody have the Drive app on their phones or yeah. So you can also open up your Drive app and find your planner that way. Another alternative is to open it up in your browser, just to paste that link in your browser. I think all of these options are great. However, if you're really truly just needing this one tab right here, you like say you're not needing to search rewards during class, really, right? You're not needing to access any of this other stuff during class. Really, the only thing you need during class is the planner tab. So what I recommend doing is clicking this button right here, email planner. So this button will actually, whatever account you're signed into up here, as long as it's not like a Yahoo or Hotmail or something like that, if it's Gmail, then this planner button will work like a charm. So what I'll do is I'll click email planner. And when I click that, it's going to say running script. And then I would just simply open up my mobile device. I would just open up my email. And whenever I do that, I'll see, oh, maybe you heard that. So my phone and my lighting is really not great for this example here, but I can see now on my mobile device on my phone, let me turn it sideways. Yay, it turned sideways. Okay. I can see that it says right here, planner. And then it has an attachment. It says PDF right there. So whenever I click to open this PDF, what it's going to do is bring up the attachment. And depending on what mail app you use, like let's say you use the native like iOS mail, that might open better. Or if you're using the Gmail app, I haven't actually ever tried it on my Gmail app, but it looks like it's still good. So if I zoom in there, I can see all of my links ready to go. And I can tap and open them and have everything ready and open in my browser. Let me do that though, just to double check. So I'm tapping, there we go. And it opened up in Safari, it looks like, but I could easily just copy and paste that somewhere else, and I can, use it on my mobile device. Okay. So I definitely recommend using that email planner button because it's just quick. Trying to open up your planner on a mobile device is going to require a really strong internet connection. It's going to require a really robust device because the planner is a really big document and your device might struggle trying to open it. And if you're crunched for time, there's nothing like panicking before, like 2 minutes before class. So I always just try to tell everyone, don't forget about that email planner button because it's super useful and it's super user friendly. And anywhere you can open up your email, you can open up your planner tab, and these hyperlinks remain clickable. So that's yeah, definitely pertains to iPads too. So Patricia, if you are able to have your email on your iPad, maybe you just go to gmail.com, or if you have the mail app set up with your iPad and you're able to receive emails from yourself on your device, then you're good to go. If you don't have any of that, set up, like your email's not set up on your device, maybe you're using your 11-year-old's old Fire tablet or something, and you don't have anything set up as far as mail-wise, then this wouldn't be a really good solution for you. What you can always do is click this share button, and you can share it. You can grab your planner link and then send whatever link or maybe manually type it in or something to whatever device you're using. You would need to do that on a browser. So. And if you're wanting to open up the reward for the current lesson, you should open up Google Slides. Yeah. So, I mean, Alina, that's a good question. So basically, anything that you open right now on your planner, on your desktop or on your device, anything that you open is going to show under your recents in Google Drive. And then, therefore, it'll also show in recents under Google Slides. The Google Slides app is something that I used for the longest time, and I still do use it occasionally to create things. However, because of the nature of our files having a lot of high quality graphics and animations and jump links and things like that, the Google Slides app tends to not play nice with a lot of our files. Has anyone experienced that as far as trying to open up a file, and tapping that play button and then just staring at a white screen? Has anybody experienced that before? Yeah, it's because it's struggling to open it. It's struggling to load it. So that's why I think in a couple of my beginners videos, I always tell everyone like, hey, just open up SlideKick in your browser, open up Google Slides in your browser, because your device's browser is way more equipped to handle a bunch of GIFs and a bunch of animations and bigger files. So, but if you haven't experienced any problems with the Google Slides app, then definitely whatever you open on your desktop, you'll see on your Google Slides app on your mobile device as well. So yeah. So that is how to prep for class. So those are the steps I would take before class, right? And let's say that something changed. Maybe my lesson number changed, and now I'm in the middle of class or middle between classes or something, and I need to fix it. This is a question on the planner or on the planner quiz. So if I need to fix something about the lesson, or the student's name or something, I can go back to my input schedule tab and I can double click and just manually change that lesson number. So let's say this is trial, like level 2 instead of level 4 or whatever. And I hit enter. So I'm like double clicking. I can edit these lesson numbers, lesson codes, if you will. You don't want to ever really take off this course name. That needs to stay how it is. Another option that you could do is just to go back to your portal and paste over that row right there. So let's say this change, I want to highlight just this row right here, and maybe I want to paste that over this one here, and maybe this lesson number was different. Now, I don't want to ruin what I have selected for all my other students, right? So an option, if you need to make a change on your input tab and you've changed something already, you're not going to see those changes necessarily reflected in whatever's populated over here, okay? So what you would need to do is use that refresh planner button to show those changes, okay? Note that this can mess up something that you've edited on the feedback tab. And that's the last thing that I usually go over in the beginner session because we are nearing that hour mark. So I'm going to hop over to the feedback tab. Let's pretend that it's after class or between classes, and I want to really quickly, send my feedback in. I'm going to hide these rows because these are bad examples here because they're have nothing in them. Okay, so whenever you go to the feedback tab, you're going to see it says My Feedback, and you see that handy email button as well, so you can email your feedback templates too. It makes it copyable and stuff from your mobile device. Now, notice these first 2 tabs, they're blank, and they should be blank. This is because I haven't designated a favorite yet for this lesson. So I see all my students in chronological order again, and I can quickly see all of the templates available for my class. And I'm just using my arrow buttons on my keyboard, but I'm just hitting over. Okay. You can also use the little scrolly bar right here. Okay. But now I see all of the feedback templates that are in SLIDEKick, but I don't see the name placeholder. I see my student's name. This is such a huge time saver in and of itself. So I don't have to go find all those names and pray and hope that I didn't miss one, but it also has it in boy and girl form, just like SLIDEKick does. So what I would do is, let's say this is a boy and I want to use this template. So I'm just going to double click really quick and show you an example here of how to edit things, because they are editable. Everything on this feedback tab, it's editable because obviously we want people to customize their templates, and let's not leave this your name in here. Let's definitely customize it. So let's say greetings from Texas, and then I'm gonna maybe put in something about how so and so did did well on blank, work on blank, and customize it, and then make sure you've swapped out your name for your actual name. And in order to save those changes or to make those changes that I just typed into the cell, they do need to be like, if you see a blinking cursor ever, this means that things are not saved yet, guys. So I always just hit tab, or you can hit enter. And this just kind of jumps you out of that edit mode. So double clicking will open up the text box for you to type in. And then you can use any enter or tab or something to exit out of that little text box, or you can just simply use your mouse to click on another box, okay? So this is the template I want to use for the student. And so what I would do is, if I want my planner to record exactly what I wrote for feedback for this student, let's say it's a regular of yours and you want to be able to quickly see and keep track of your previous feedback you left for this student, you would want to then copy this template and you would want to probably paste it over here, because anything that's in the favorite columns, any kind of text or whatever is in the favorites columns, that's the only templates that are saved when you click Save Planner. So that would be a lot of text to save. if your planner was saving all of the feedback templates for every student. So that's a lot of text. It makes your document really slow. So we decided on the last update to maybe just have the favorite feedback being saved. And this is just, pure performance. That's why we did it, is to make sure that the planners are staying pretty light and opening pretty quickly. So here's where I would want, if I want to save my feedback I wrote for the student, I would want to paste it over here in the one of the favorite columns, okay? If I don't really know if I'm going to see this student again, which I don't know, I may not. I may just like, okay, well, whatever. I can go look on the portal later, So here's the thing. I see a question. Yeah. Will it repopulate with another student's name? So good question, Corey. Just because I pasted this over here in this these two columns, this doesn't mean that I have officially designated it as my favorite. Because once you do start designating a template as your favorite, which that's something that you'll accomplish on the favorites tab, once I do designate something as my favorite, it's going to start showing up here. So it won't ever be blank anymore. It will be showing my favorite feedback template. So I would go through and I would, make customizations to each of my templates, and I would probably go ahead and just like paste them over here, right? Just for good measure. Because what I can actually do next is I can save that template that I customized and I put my own name in. I can actually save that over on my favorites tab for next time. That is part of the advanced session though, but I might have a little bit of time to kind of go over some of those key steps on the favorites tab. But I do want to hit one more point before we kind of conclude this session. Let's say that you gave your student a nickname and now it's in your feedback template, and that will happen. So let's say instead of, you left it as Lee Jaja, let's say you put it as Boy Blue or something, it's something that you would remember him by, and now all of your templates have Boy Blue in it. So this is a problem, because then you're having to backtrack and you're having to do that swapping out again. A quick way to do that all in one fell swoop is to type something in this box, or you can select from the drop down. But let's say you type something in this box right here and you say, okay, find this word. Let's say, actually, I'm going to back. There we go. Okay. Let's say his name is not Lee Jaja. In class, he told me his name was Joe. All right. And, or vice versa. Maybe I typed Joe, but I want the parents to see Lee Jaja. This is basically like a find and replace function up here. So like I can type whatever I want them to find. Okay. Replace this name with this name. So let's say his name is actually Joe. So that's what I'm going to want all of my templates in, for this student. I want all the templates to say Joe. What I can do is I can, type those two names in. What do I want to replace? And what do I want it to be? And I can hit this button and it's going to swap out those student names with Joe. So now on this template, I can see it says Joe right here, Joe, instead of Lee Jaja. Okay. So that's a helpful thing. But the other part to this is whenever you do that swap names function, it does mess with the ability to quickly save it under your favorites tab. Does anybody know how does the planner know what is a name in the template and what's not a name in the template? Anybody? Or if you're already a planner user, maybe you do know the answer to this question, maybe. But when you're saving your own favorite feedback, how do you tell the planner, okay, well, next time I want this lesson or this lesson comes up, I don't want Joe's name in there. How do you do it? Anybody? Well, yes, the code is part of it, but it's really a formula that does it. But you as the user has to put in some kind of placeholder so that your planner knows, okay, oh wait, this is a name. I should swap this for whatever is on the input tab as the student's name. So it does need to have a placeholder in it. And your favorites tab is pretty smart, and it knows what it already knows. If you haven't made any changes to the student names or anything from your input tab, then it knows what to swap. So let's say on your input tab, the student's name is listed as Lee Jaja, right? But on your feedback tab, you've just changed all of them to say Joe, right? Well, now your planner is going to be a little bit confused, and it's not going to know which one to have that placeholder for. So this one right here is a little bit of a tricky, workaround. If you have already swapped names, like on your feedback template, whatever on that feedback tab, whatever the student's name is in the template, if it doesn't match what's on your input tab, this causes some miscommunication, and you'll end up starting to save templates without a placeholder. This would be something you'd need to manually change, but just for example's sake, let me show you the magic that it can do. So I'm going to go ahead and go over to, I'm going to undo all those changes right there so that it says Lee Jaja. Okay, cool. All right, so my names match on my input tab and they match on the feedback tab. And so now, let's say I made all my changes and I want to save this as my favorite. What I would do is I would go over to my favorites tab and I would select whatever lesson is showing. Notice that whenever I clicked on a lesson, it shows me different things. And this is a cool thing that it basically just looks on your planner tab and on your feedback tab, and it just pulls up whatever you currently have selected. So for this lesson, I remember I selected the plants thing. So there it is right there. I have all the prop options that I might want to save for this lesson. And then I also see all of the templates right here. I can see the different types. Those are also titled on the feedback tab itself. But since I saved or I pasted that one template from the other column and I pasted it in the favorites column, I actually see something showing up here too. So that's why I like to paste it into my favorites column, because it's quicker and easier for me to know, okay, which one did I edit again? So another way that you can do this to remind yourself which one you edited, let's say that you edited, let's say you edited this one. You can always just put like edited, all right, at the beginning of the template. And then you're actually going to see that edited word on your favorites tab. So if you go over here, I can quickly see, okay, that's that lesson. Oh wait, yeah, that's right, I edited this one. So all changes are reflected live on your favorites tab. That's why those names really need to match. But let's say I want to save this template as the one that I want to come up next time I have this lesson. And I don't want Leah Jaja in there. I want name. I want the student's actual name. If I double click, which I don't ever do, I'm not following the rules right now, but this is just for example. Notice that my planner already knew, it already knew to put name in there. So I don't have to go in and find Lee Jaja, and swap all those out, because it does it for me. As long as the names match on the input tab and they match on the feedback tab, then the planner knows, okay, anytime that I see Lee Jaja in this template, I need to put a placeholder in for, Megan, so that she can quickly save it and it'll populate correctly next time. So that's just a common error or common issue that people run into, is that maybe they change the names. Like I put Joe, right? I changed it to Joe. If I go back over to my favorites tab and now I'm going to save it and I have Joe in there in the template that's edited, but on my input tab it says a different name, then my planner is going to just have Joe. And then you're saving that template that has Joe in it. And then next time that you have lesson, you're going to see Joe's name. I hope that you're following. This is where it gets a little tricky. And this is just a very short summary of what's in the advanced session. But this is something that people run into all the time. If you're wanting to save it and not have to find those different student names and swap them out yourself, or if you want your planner to just do it for you, then what you want to do is just always make sure that whatever name is in your feed or in these feedback templates right here, whatever name is there in these templates needs to match what's on your input tab, okay? That's just a quick workaround. And then maybe you can save and designate your favorites. And then after that, after the fact, go and swap out, use that name swap button that we were looking at earlier. So now that, I have maybe, let's say I saved this template already as my favorite, I can actually come back here and I can do that name swap again. That way it doesn't, interfere with what populates. So, but yeah, the favorites tab is part of the advanced session. The next advanced session is it's not going to be next month. or it's not going to be this month, it's going to be next month. But there is a recording that I can send you guys that has I think the last one that we did was month before last. And so that has all of the more advanced features of the planner. So, so let's say that you're done editing your feedback templates, right? And so now what you want to do is save everything. Let's say you want to record your classes for the day. This way you can, this is what you would do. Last step would be to click that Save Planner button. And remember, guys, you don't want to click this a bazillion times every time you make an edit, because that's going to create like duplicate records for all of your classes. However many times you press that button is how many times that class will show up on your classes tab. So once I click Save Planner, it's going to grab what's on my planner tab and it's going to paste it onto this tab over here, my classes tab. And this really is just for tracking purposes. So if you really don't want to track your students, or let's say you really just want to use the basic functions of the planner, then you would just skip that part. You don't have to record anything. You can just click reset and paste your schedule for the next day. So let's see, let's take some questions here. Let's see. Use them as okay. Yeah. Okay. Alina, this is yeah, under the slides tab and the material tab. Okay, so can you give me more added benefits to using this in comparison to the lesson notes sessions? So comparison would be that in retrospect, it's just a completely, we're only touching on the basics in this session, but the planner actually functions as a tracker too. So if you're seeing a lot of regular students, you can actually see a lot of their previous rewards and how many classes you've had with them, how many notes you had with, that kind of thing. And this is similar to that students tab over there in the portal as well. But this is a great way to have it all in one place, and something not on the VIPKid portal, because we don't ever know when that is going to, I have taught for VIPKid for almost, well, it's been over 2.5 years, but there have been several times that the portal is down, and so not able to, access that kind of stuff. That's one benefit, but the other benefit is just that it has all of the rewards. You actually have a document that has all of your links in order by your schedule. And then another quick, really huge time saver, in my opinion, is that it generates the student's name. I don't know what you're using as a placeholder, but it probably can get a little annoying sometimes having to go find all of those placeholders when you're copying and pasting that template and changing it to the correct student name. So let's see. Corey, let's see. There's, I think last count there was like 8,100. So yeah. I know, that's like, let that sink in, you guys. 8,100. I mean, really, I kind of surprise myself sometimes when I say that too, because I remember when there was 100. So, but yeah, like if you scroll all the way down, this is just the F's. Pretty crazy, right? So this is a huge document. So you don't want to really be opening this during class. That's why I think it's also important to use that planner button. Yeah, I think there's about 8125. Very cool. So how do you choose the top 4 to put in the less? Oh, okay. So Corey, that's a great question. That's actually not something decided by members in their planners themselves. So like this right here, great question. Colored cells on the rewards tab. Colored cells over here are not editable. So like we saw happening with the planner tab, like if I try to type something in there, it's going to tell me, no, don't do that. So I can just hit cancel. The Sidekick Zoom is tomorrow, Claudia. Let me go ahead and wrap things up here, and I'll send that link. Alicia, I don't know if you're able to maybe grab or here, actually, I'll just type the Facebook events for our group, and that way you can hop onto the group page and size and events, and that way you can hop onto the group page and then see that Sidekick Zoom. It's tomorrow. It's at the same time. So let's go ahead and wrap stuff up here. So any more specific questions?
Do you have time for one more question?
Go ahead. Yeah. Go ahead.
In class, then, when you have this all populated and ready to go, and you're not using a webcam device like Minicam or something, I don't even know what it's called. If you have a device, do you just click on that and hold it up? You could just click on
Yes.
each tab, rewards, props,
Right.
and then hold it up.
Yeah, and Patricia, definitely join us tomorrow for that. We're going to actually for the Sidekick. It's a Sidekick and Google Slides beginner session. So, like, how do you? It goes over things like that. So, like, how do you use this in class? Can I see some class clips of teachers using these resources?
I've
Like, what
used
does
it.
this
I've
look
just
like?
used one. I've used it not with
Yeah.
the planner. I mean, with the planner, it's the same idea as when I've been
Right.
using it with just plain old Sidekick.
Right. So these links that you see right here,
Yeah.
whenever I open them, so like notice whenever I'm clicking once on the cell, I see this little pop-up. This is on my desktop, right? But if
Yes.
it were on my mobile device, if I just would use my finger and tap that blue
Yep.
text, it'll open up that same document that opens up in Sidekick when you hit
Thank
open
you.
link.
And I will
Yeah.
join you tomorrow. Thanks.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, so let's wrap things up here. Let's see. What about Google Slides with Manicam? So Corey, there's a session on that soon. Definitely check out our event section because I think Christina and a couple of other admin that use Manicam, and I use webcam software, but I don't use Manicam anymore. But definitely check out the event section. Just keep your eyes peeled because I don't think it's on the schedule just yet. But yeah, okay. Well, thank you all so much for coming. Let me copy I'm going to copy my YouTube link. That's where you'll find all the planner, the previous advanced sessions. So let me copy that there. Hopefully that works. It looks really weird. That's a really big URL there. Okay, and feel free to connect with me on YouTube or Instagram. And thank y'all so much for coming today. And y'all feel free to reach out if you have any questions. And let me send. Hold on. I'm going to send the link to this document, this presentation right here. This way you can use that. The last slide on this, so once you open up this document, you're going to swipe through. It's a Google slide, so you're going to swipe through and you're going to see on the very last slide, I actually have the links for the practice planner and the links for the request form. So that is your next step, really, guys. I challenge you to, maybe take a mental break for a second because this is a lot to digest, but take a mental break and then, oh wait, whoops, I accidentally sent that privately. Hold on. There we go. This is the link to the presentation right here. So that has these links right here. So if you open it up and it's on not what you see on my screen, you can just swipe, use your finger or mouse. And so I challenge you to get the practice planner next so you can do all of those things that I was just doing. You can do all of them in the practice planner and practice inputting your schedule and practice getting familiar with it. And then you can request your planner right here. So the quiz link is in that same document, Alina. So yeah, here, I'm gonna paste that link one more time. Okay, and then this way you can open up your this presentation file that we went over today, and then you'll just swipe through to the very last slide. I think it's on slide 9. Okay, and then you'll have these 2 links that you can open up from there. Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, thank y'all so much for coming today, and I enjoyed getting to teach y'all more about the planner. And feel free to message me on Facebook or send me an email if you ever run into any issues, and I'll try to help you the best I can. Okay. All right. Have a good afternoon. Bye, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye bye.